Welcome to Rock Gamer. It's Tuesday night, which means it's time to review another week of Rock Band DLC. And have you guys ever been so excited for a piece of DLC that when you finally get it, you feel really disappointed with it? That's kind of how I feel like about this week. I love all these songs to listen. They're great songs to listen to. They just don't translate that well into gameplay. And the first song we're talking about is Wicked Garden by Stone Temple Pilots. And I think the timing is kind of interesting. It came out about a month after Scott Weiland passed away. Now keep in mind, these guys, it takes a long time to license music, sometimes 4 to 6 weeks at the earliest. These guys probably licensed this song way before Scott Weiland died. So if you think it's a coincidence or ironic, it's really not. So let's talk about the guitar. The main riff in Wicked Garden is super easy. It's really repetitive, and then there's also some sustain notes thrown in as well. And the sustain notes kind of bring the song to a grinding halt. There's some really long sustains in there, kind of ruin the song for me. I would say that the ending of the song sort of changes up a bit on guitar, gets a little more interesting, but I would say this song is mediocre at best on guitar. The drums, they start off with a really cool fill, and then the ending of the song ends with a really cool fill, but everything in between is just really boring. It's like a standard rock beat on the hi-hat, and then you play the same kind of beat like on the ride cymbal and snare, and it's just repeated. There's barely any fills in this song. This is definitely a song you should skip on drums. The bass was actually surprised. It was actually better than the guitar and the drums. While it's not fantastic or amazing, it's still pretty enjoyable. I had a good amount of fun with this song. If there's one instrument you should buy for this song out of the ones I played, I would say it's the bass. Let's go into our next song of the week. Song of the week is My Wave by Soundgarden, and this is another song I've been wanting in Rock Band for so long, and we finally got it. And you know what? On guitar, it's just got a really boring, repetitive riff that's really easy. It makes up like the first 2 minutes of the song, and then the song sort of transitions into single notes. And there's just something about the guitar just didn't grab me. I was really bored with this song. I would say skip on guitar. The drums are easily the most enjoyable drums out of all the songs this week. There's 2 main beats you'll play. One revolves around the floor tom and the snare, and the other one's around the ride and the snare. And there's definitely enough to keep your attention. This was a pretty fun song. I'd recommend buying the drums. The bass is actually harder than the guitar. I feel like it's a little bit over-tiered on bass, but I found that even though the bass is better than the guitar, it was still mediocre at best. It's a little too repetitive for my liking on bass. I'd say mediocre for bass. Let's go into our final song of the week. Song of the week is Hunger Strike by Temple of the Dog. This is a song I've always wanted in Rock Band. I'm glad we finally got it. It's in Guitar Hero Live as well. And this song, on guitar, it's mostly consists of single notes. Now, the one thing I will say is that the single notes are pretty spread out around the fretboard, but at the same time, I found it was quite repetitive. The ending kind of changes it up with some chords, but overall, I felt it was mediocre. The drums, it follows a pretty standard and easy rock beat. The beginning of the song, just a lot of playing on the hi-hat and the open hi-hat, but then the rest of it's just like a pretty standard rock beat. It does get a little bit more difficult towards the end of the song, but I felt that, the drums were mediocre. The bass, you don't play any bass for the first 70 seconds of this song, and then you play the same pattern over and over again. You play like a few notes, followed by sustain, play a few more notes, followed by sustain, and, it's just really boring and something that's not memorable. I'd say skip the bass. That does it for this week's review, guys. I was really disappointed with this week. I want to know from you guys, what are your thoughts on this week's songs? Did you buy any songs? And what are some of your favorites? Comment below and let me know. And as always, guys, make sure you subscribe to my channel for the latest happenings in the world of rhythm gaming. Take care.